Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Walk the Talk with Kurt and Chelsea. She allowed me to do the intro today, which I am super excited for because we are bringing you part two of our conversation with Mr. Anthony Trucks.
Great job, honey. I'm proud of you.
Nailed it.
No, we are really excited. We loved getting to ask him some questions the other day and just getting to know him a little bit better. But really wanted to ask him about the protests and the riots that are going on and just the current situation. With him having such a unique background of being a Black kid into a white family and just everything he's gone through and the different, dynamics throughout his lifestyle, we really thought that the conversation and the perspective that he might be able to bring to us is just really, really special. So we are excited to get going. So hopefully you enjoy the rest of this clip. All right. So where we kind of left off was I want to kind of ask you, how do you feel about kind of some of the stuff that's going on right now as far as the riots and
the protests and things like that.
Things like that.
There's a whole lot. It's
it is.
So I have I guess my dynamic is interesting. So I grew up in a situation where I was, in an all-white family. So I understand the perspectives of white America in a different way than most people that look like me. I grew up in it. I watched it. We grew up poor, but I was also around family members that, were, wealthier, middle-class white families. So you get to see the perspectives. And then on my side, I get it. So there's always, I guess, here's how I look at it. There are two sides. There is the side of this is not okay, and there's a side of like there's nothing wrong, right? What are you guys talking about? And I have people in my own life that are like they're on another side opposite of me. I'm more of like there's something off, and I'm not saying that it's everything everybody's saying, because here's what I also realize: on each side, there are people on different sides of their side.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm on this is not right, and some people are like it's not right. Go break stuff. I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know, we need to go break stuff. But here's the thing, I understand why it's going on. I guess I was watching this video yesterday, and it was a cool breakdown. And he says, at the end of the day, there's this contract. Society has a contract. Contract says that we're not going to loot and run and break, Target, right? So that's why people who, even when they are disenfranchised, they don't have much money, they're not going in and robbing Targets like they're doing right now. That's why, because the contract of society says we're going to do this. And the contract also says that you're going to protect us. You're not going to hurt us. You're going to do this kind of crazy. So what happens is whenever the contract is broken, people stop abiding by the contract. So when people who are disenfranchised, when they feel like the other side is not upholding their side of the contract, like, well, if you're going to be doing this and you're going to be killing us, like, all right, we're going to go ahead and just do what we want to do and not abide by your contract. And then you got people that are also the other side who are pissed because they're like, what do you break? You can't be breaking things. You say you're not going to break things. You sign the contract too. So both sides are pissed that both people are breaking the contract, and you have this infinite loop. And for me, if I look at it and I grasp the perspectives, because it's difficult when you look at the overarching, because it's like, well, on paper they have the same rights. Like on paper, I have the same rights as you guys do on paper. That is the truth. But numbers don't show that the system is showing up that way. And I don't know where it's broke down. I don't know what's going on. I don't have the answers for you. Yeah. What I do know is there is what's on paper, but there is also like, there's that situation where I started thinking, like, I naturally have conversation with my boys about like, hey, when you start driving, make sure you're aware. It's because I don't want them to get shot, right? It's weird. And I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I don't want it to happen. And then for me, like, there's things like I'm going to go somewhere. I have to think like, oh, I don't want to be looked at as like a thug. I don't got to wear my hoodie and my, but to be comfortable, but I got to dress with jeans and nice shorts, right? And then I like, I don't realize, but that is a natural, normal part of how I have to think throughout my day.
Wow.
And it's whether or not I'm going to be judged as whether I'm a hoodlum or not. And I've had we'll call them black moments. I've been pulled over multiple times in a nice car and haven't been like, whose car is this? Like, it's my car, or I've been called at airports, I've had somebody call me like Afro penis with penis, like weird. This is like a couple of years ago at San Francisco airport, right? I've been run off the road and called the N-word, yelled up to the window. Like, these things have happened in my adult years, less than 5 years ago. So there's these moments that happen, but I don't think people grasp they're consistently happening. You don't see all of them unless there's a death. What you do is you see this stuff happening. And so my perspective is, I get why it's going on, but then here's the troublesome part. Because of how my people act, that's what media shows. Therefore, you're ingrained in this perspective of what people are seeing, which perpetuates the actions they take against us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's this really weird back and forth of like, all right, well, you're like, I don't want to say don't loot, because I get why you're looting. If you're disenfranchised, not getting very much, and you see every day, all day, everybody having more, and like it was systematically designed this way. Like I have buddies who live in my hometown from before Antioch who have deeds because their parents have owned the house since forever that still say this: you cannot sell this house to a black person. Like it's still on the deeds, right? Which means that it was systematically created towards like, these areas are going to be predominantly white, which means they're going to get better schools, better education, better income. So because of that, we get to a point where like you can get a better job and you get this situation. And so in any environment, when the dream for that, this isn't my quote or my statement, but the dream for that life is dashed, and you can have that, the only other choice you have is to be an outlaw. So it's like, because I can't have all this, like we created ghettos. Societally, we created ghettos, we created poverty, we created situations where there isn't an ability for them to have an education, and there isn't an ability for them to climb out of the hood, right? Unless they play sports, which is 1 in a million. And so now it's like we're creating the poverty that creates the crime and then getting mad at them for being criminals. And it's this perpetuating cycle. But then there's a thing, when I say we, it's not you guys. It wasn't like you woke up and were like, I'm creating this, I'm doing this. My mom and dad, my dad looks like Homer in real life. Like, he didn't wake up and do this, you know what I mean? Like, this isn't a thought he had. So I get the plight. And the other side, it's like, dude, I didn't do this. What do I do? But it's tough when it's like when you're born, you don't think about the air you're breathing. It's just air you breathe. And so like the world that was created, like you were born into it and you don't realize what you're breathing. You just are. And it's all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is air. If I go to Mars, the air is different. So I feel like people are now being exposed to Mars. So like, this is different. I didn't realize what air was, right? Which is this certain kind of privilege that's created that wasn't intentional. Nobody desired it. Nobody asked for it. It's just there. And you didn't create this. It was just done in a system hundreds of years before that all of us were now dealing with. And so situationally, I get the plight of like, I got friends who are like, I've got a lot of how are you doing calls from all my white friends in the last couple of days. It's amazing, you know? And part of me is like, what are you doing? Like, it's making it weird, bro. But I'm like, oh, wait. Like, they're feeling it for the first time, and they're trying to reach out. And it's like, here's the tough part. They don't know what to say. It's like, I feel bad, but I don't know what to do with this. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to handle it. And I get that. Then it's like, if you say something and you say the wrong thing, you're going to get attacked. It's like, okay, so I don't want to say the wrong thing, so I'll just say nothing. But then you say nothing, and now you're racist. You know what I mean? Like, and it's weird.
Yeah, we definitely, that's a conversation we have. And, you know, and that's why I wanted to bring this up and ask you, is because, you know, and like I said, I have a diverse team. And so sometimes trying to address, you know, my different athletes and everything, I feel like I have to be careful and caring and everything. And so, no,
you can't please everybody.
Yeah,
it's the hard part.
It's true.
It's seriously eggshells.
Yeah, and I think, you know, there's a difference between, you know, I guess the looting and stuff. That's where I struggle with, because a lot of these people, like you said, that they didn't do this. These businesses that are being hurt, these you know, these people that might be getting hurt, you know, they might be on, you know, I guess a certain side of the fence, but these people burn their businesses up and they don't even know, you know, who owns the business a lot of times. Or they're burning churches and things up like that have nothing to do with the situation. And so that's where I feel like I've just had a loss. I don't know what to do or what to say, or, you know, how to feel about it.
Who to get mad at, who not to get mad at. Yeah, because I mean, I'm in a side where I get pissed. I'm like, you got to break that stuff. Now they got us on camera, and that's what we look like, right? They're making me look bad. My best friend's a white police officer. We have some interesting conversations. He's not always on the same perspective of me. He doesn't fully grasp it, but I'm also not the norm. Like I operate a different tick. I've had the same experiences, but my emotional strength and my experience, my education's at a level where I can make sense of it and do what I do differently. But even then, it's like there is this back and forth of like, I don't believe they should loot, but I can't sit here and say I don't understand it. If you think about it from an animalistic standpoint, I'm not saying that we're animals in any way, but there's that baseline. We have what's called, there's id, ego, super ego, right? The id is the baseline sense of us, which is, here's our natural instinctual desires. Then you have super ego that says, don't do this. And the ego levels it out. It says, hey, bro, don't do this. I want it. Oh, that's a good watch. That's a beautiful watch. I'm not going to break the wall and get it, because super ego says, don't break the glass and get it. But you get to a situation where it's like, there's no more super ego. The baseline id takes control. And what we're seeing is people like, damn, what the super ego that's keeping me in line is like, I want to abide so that I don't get get killed. Like at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, situationally, not everything's racially motivated.
Mhm.
I don't think that what the guy did, he did because it was a black guy, but I believe he didn't take an action opposite and kind of had a carelessness because it was a black guy.
Mhm.
It wouldn't have happened to a white woman. I don't know if it would have happened to a white guy, but because it's like, there's a racial there's a racial sub level going on in this guy's head of like, it's just a black dude, because he had a camera on him and he knew that the climate of the world and still didn't care.
Yeah.
Because why? If it's Susan down there, Karen, sorry, but if it's a Karen, no one's saying it. He's not going to do that. But it's like, that's the problem, is people think it's not racially motivated. My buddy's like, it's not racially motivated. I'm like, it's not racially motivated, but he's not racially motivated to adjust his action. He just did it because in his world, he's probably done it before, or he's seen it done, and there just wasn't a camera. And it's like, we'll just do this. Now all of a sudden, problem happens. And now it's like, damn, we really got to wake up, because that happens so easily on camera to a black person. When you see it over and over and over, after a while, you're like, damn, now is it the media feeding us? It's happened to black people? I don't know. Maybe it's happened all over the place at similar levels.
Yeah, and I do want to get your take on that. How much do you feel like this is a media, or that is pushing a certain narrative, I know it's hard to answer and stuff, and we don't know the ins and outs of it, but I feel like the media, obviously, they push a lot of negative stuff. People like to watch other people doing worse than them in a lot of situations because it makes them feel better about themselves. And so, to me, I want to get your take on, what social media or any kind of media, news, anything like that,
It spins things up, man. I've seen things where I've you just watch videos of cops trampling people with horses. There's one video of a guy who's down at the courthouse and they put a pallet of bricks in front of the courthouse. No construction anywhere, but there's a pallet of bricks out there. There's the video of the guy, the police officer breaking windows with a mask on. And so what you're finding, I think if I was make sense, if I'm like the supremacist, I'm like, how can I make the black people look bad? I'm gonna go break stuff and make them look bad. I'm gonna create ways to, and so it's like, then the media, I saw a video where it's a CNN video and they pull back on accident. You can see it's a studio. It's studio lighting, and you get the police officers against protesters. It's not even a real environment. It's like studio lights.
Yeah.
So you start looking at like, I don't think we quite exactly know what's going on. The media will give the narrative they have to. I saw a video, some guys like, I'm in Chicago. I just went and walked my dog. He's like, the news is telling you it's a bunch of black people. He's like, I didn't see a single black person at the local CVS there. He says 30 people, all white people looting. He's like, I didn't see a single dark person. Like, so, but again, there's a narrative, but the narrative we live off of, unfortunately. And I don't know where that line draws. Because if you look at the statistics, like I saw something last night, because I just start scouring in there. I'm like, I want to know information. Not that I want to have a judgment, but I want to know. And if you look at like unarmed killings, there was since 2013 to 2019, there's been 7,666 police killings of unarmed individuals, right? Of that, you've had, and it's the police officers doing it, unarmed individuals killed. And it's something like, I want to say like 70% or something weird was like Black Americans, right? But then you have, of those, only 24 have ever been convicted. Of these police officers doing this, 24 convicted. There's been 74 charged with no conviction. And the other ones, 7,500, nothing. No one, nothing. Unarmed killings, nothing, right?
Wow.
So it's like, you get those numbers. And you look at like, if you look at arrests or like killings of unarmed, it's like 5 to 1 black to white of unarmed police shootings. So it's like, you start to sit there and think like, is it racial? No, it's like, it's not super racial, but it's racially in the background. For some reason, there's a little bit of things that are off. Now, I don't know who's doing it. I don't know. Is it all the police? No, it's not all the police. It's an entire system, right?
Yeah.
But the numbers are showing us like, dude, something is up. So we're going to sit here and keep saying that nothing's going on. We're going to keep having this. And I think it was Cuomo said it in a video, was really eloquently kind of stated. He says, at the end of the day, this is an illness that's showing symptoms. The symptom is the looting, the argument, it's the killing of people. That's the symptom. And everybody's getting mad at the symptom. They're saying you can't protest. It's the wrong way to protest, wrong way to do this. It was a wrong way for every protest to take place because you're protesting the society that gives you the judgment of whether or not it's the right protest. So for that society, it's always going to be the wrong protest. So they're protesting, but in doing so, it's like there's no definitive of, like he says, oh man, Cuomo, what did he say? What did he say? Oh, he says you're looking at the illness, or you're looking at the symptom, but not the actual illness. So it's like if you're sick and someone keeps putting ointment on your things, but like you're sick inside, you're gonna keep having symptoms.
Yeah.
But nobody's saying like what's going on. Like so that's kind of one thing that kills me. And then you look at that Tulsa, Oklahoma stuff. You ever like heard about that?
Yes. Yes.
Dude, like that's a crazy one. Like the Watchmen movie. I watched that and I remembered it. I'm like, oh wow, I remember it. So like Tulsa, Oklahoma, people may not know, but like 1921, you had what they call Black Wall Street. And what it was like this booming economy of Black businesses. They were killing it. And I mean, thousands of people, hundreds of shops, like amazing. All over the country, there's some going up. And they started seeing the news. There were white families or white, groups that were going and pillaging these places. So they were kind of preparing for it. All of a sudden, 1921 hits. And some guy or some woman says that some Black kid whistled at her in an elevator or something, right? I mean, you're talking about something that really is random. Overnight, the place is burned to the ground. 3,000 people are killed. The businesses are shut down. And it's like you had this thing where we were creating our own bubble, create our economy, and it's shut down. And a lot of people speculate that's because you didn't want this economic prowess from the African-American community. And then no one's to this day ever been charged or arrested for that. How did 3,000 people die? And the history books shut it up until 1996. They opened up and said, yeah, this existed and it happened. So you have this society where people say it's broken, and I don't think it's broken. It's working perfectly as it was designed.
Yeah.
And now people are seeing like, all right, something's got to change. And I don't know the solution. I don't think the solution is to break buildings and to rob everybody. I don't think the solution is to ignore it either. So I don't know what the solution is. I just know something's got to be adjusted.
And we agree. And it's something that definitely, I don't know if I know I'll never understand completely, but asking questions and trying to get different perspectives is the best way I know how to try to get kind of an understanding. And hopefully we can start using kind of the platforms that we have, the social media and things like that. I want to see people be able to, we have this beautiful opportunity to be able to express ourselves and to be able to communicate and see different perspectives and everything. I wish I could see even more of that and people doing that and trying to hear the other perspective. Like you said, it's okay to have, agree to disagree, but at least do that. Hear another perspective.
Have a conversation.
Yeah, have a conversation.
Yeah, I did that. There was a woman I was speaking on like Instagram yesterday. She's a white woman and she's posted a lot of her stuff and anti-racism is this thing now. It's like, it's not enough to be quiet, because if you're quiet, you're siding with the oppressor, right? So it's like, you got to speak up. So they're doing that. And she said that really threw me. And I was like, I didn't grasp it that way. So for me, I talked about even our earlier part of the podcast, it's like to pull back the ego and say, I need to work on something, right? So she said the hardest part for her was a psychological part of accepting that she had a white privilege and having to accept also that the ego in her wouldn't at first abide by or accept that what she thought was right was actually wrong. Because now you're saying I have to accept that, like, I didn't do anything wrong. Well, no, you didn't do anything wrong. Like, nobody's saying you actually, maliciously did something wrong to somebody. But the ego for her was like, I had to accept, like, I hadn't done anything wrong, but I hadn't even noticed the air I was breathing, we'll call it. And I didn't do anything to stop it whenever it popped up. I would just laugh it off, or someone would say something racist and I'd be like, hey, giggle and move on, as opposed to standing up and saying, like, that's not okay. Yeah. Which is a hard thing for people to do. So like the thing I think a lot of people are having to accept or would have to move this forward is for society to say, all right, I didn't do anything intentionally wrong, but this system I'm in that I'm part of and I'm maybe benefiting from, like, it's wrong and I got to do something. But that's an ego hit, because then it's like, how do you accept something that you don't think you did? You're like, kid, like, break the window? No, I didn't break the window, but you pitched the ball. You're not supposed to play, baseball in front of the house. But I didn't break it, but Timmy broke it. But you pitched Timmy the ball, didn't you? Yeah, but you're part of it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's that. Yeah. But no, I didn't. And so it's like, there's an aspect. I'm sorry to make it that simple, but I'm a picture guy. But it's like, I think that's what we're going to run into a situation is good, phenomenal, amazing hearted people that I have in my life. Even they are struggling with, I don't get your side, Aunt. Like, I know you don't get my side, and that's totally okay. I'm not trying to make you get my side, but get this, there is something off. Like, there is a fish in the room that I can smell. I don't know what vent it's in, but damn it stinks in my house. And so if it stinks in the house, we got to find the fish, not try to just get used to the smell.
Well, like you said, I don't think that is, tearing each other down. And I don't, obviously there's, bad people, everywhere, all races and everything, ages, gender.
Humans.
There is. And, I think that just having that conversation and somehow we've got to break the cycle, whether it's us teaching, the next generation. To me, it starts at home. You're a baby, you're born, and you don't know, racism. You learn it, whether it is through your family, whether it is through social media, the news, whatever the case may be, movies. Society teaches you that. And so I think it starts at home, though, with us and our kids to teach them, how to make a difference and actually break the cycle that, like you said, this isn't okay. Something's wrong, something's off, and we need to be able to speak up and talk about it.
Yeah, it starts there. If you think about it, it's infiltrated all aspects of society. There's a doll test they do. They have these kids who just, grow up, sit there like, which is the bad doll? The black one. Which is the good one? It's the white doll. And I don't think parents are teaching it. The parents didn't go home and say, it's a bad doll, it's a good doll. That didn't happen. But
it was in cartoons.
It was cartoons. It was
in
cartoons.
Movies. Yes.
So the thing is, it's a societal thing that's part of a system that's been in place for a long time. And I think that's the hard thing, is no one was right in front of us the whole time. And because I don't talk about it, we don't outwardly talk about it. In fact, like to the extent of like, if you talk and met me, you wouldn't even, race doesn't become an issue really, or even a conversation point for me. But I experience it, right? But I have a different way of looking at the system, which is, yes, it's not set up for me to succeed. It just isn't. I've had to climb and do things way harder than my counterparts. I'm well aware of it, but I don't get pissed that I got to work hard. I just get pissed and work hard. And therefore I get better and I succeed. So people are like, how'd you do it? I'm like, I played the same game with the same rules, but I just played it better, right? It's the only way I got ahead. Where some people, they don't have the ability to play the game better, but they shouldn't be unable to play at all. And so it's kind of where we have this dynamic, and it's a system that was created, and I almost like I get both sides. I get why people are feeling it. I've experienced it. I get why they're looting. I'm not saying it's okay, but I understand why they're doing it, right? And then at the same side, it's like, I get that people are like, well, how do you want to fix this? Because you're doing criminal acts. And it's like, then at the same time, you're just part of a system that is setting you up to succeed, that created an environment for that to take place. And so there's these people at the top who create the environment, they're faceless. You guys, my parents, like, that's who's getting to deal with it, because we're on the streets. If I went walking around, I don't know who the Waltons are. I don't know the people that are billionaires, and I don't know, but they're the ones that are still up there and they're running. They're faceless. I don't know them. But the people that are every day at the grocery store, like, those are the ones getting the heat for this right now. That they weren't even, they're just, as in same kind of poverty as everybody else is, but they're not getting their knees on their neck. They're not getting, they're just like, there's a guy shot 9 people, was known he shot 9 people, and then just peacefully arrested him. And then you got this guy who forged a check and he got a knee in his neck and he dies. It's like, that's kind of the disparity that we have to accept. But yeah, man, I don't know the answer, bro. I wish I had the answer. I really did.
No, well, we love getting to hear, like I said, your insight and getting to pick your brain a little bit more on that and just everything. Like, just so, I don't know, just really opens my eyes to even a more different perspective too. So I really appreciate you answering that question and going into some detail. Yeah,
happy to.
Well, and I know that we've taken up plenty of your time today, more than what I'm sure you anticipated. So where can people follow you? Where can they reach out?
If you go to anthonytrucks.com, is my website. And if you go to @AnthonyTrucks on Instagram, that's where I'm at Instagram. Everywhere you would probably go, Anthony Trucks, and you'll find me.
Awesome. And then we have kind of a fun question that we're going to ask everyone. And so since you're our first interview, like I said, fun question. What is your go-to, like, indulgence or, treat meal that you have? So you ever heard of My Cookie Dealer? No.
So they're on Instagram. Look up My Cookie Dealer, half-pound cookies. They have a bunch. I don't know what my favorite cookie would be. I like the remix they got. They got a bunch of ones. They got like s'mores Nutella with like black velvet. They're fat cookies. They're ridiculously. So I do those. But here's the one I think, that the Teddy Graham, cinnamon Teddy Graham with cinnamon toast crunch ice cream. so far has been my fave.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
my gosh, you are speaking my language. I am a cookie monster. If I'm gonna have any kind of sweet treat, it's cookies too.
Yeah, you got
So,
it.
and you
Yeah.
know, so awesome. Well, no, again, thank you so much. We appreciate your
Yeah,
time and
welcome.
everything and just the opportunity to get to talk with you.
I thank you for inspiring me and motivating
Yeah.
me. And like I said, I've been following you for a while, and it's truly amazing every day.
Thank you, man. I enjoy it. I appreciate it. I love what I do, and I'm hoping it shows through.
All right. Well, thanks, Anthony. I appreciate it. And
Thank you
thank you
so
for your
much.
time
much.
again.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Take care, guys.
Thank
Bye.
you too. I loved the conversation that he brought to us. Like, I definitely feel like the things that he brought up and kind of talked about just gave us a different perspective, or maybe not just a different perspective, but kind of, I know for me, enlightened me to some things that are still going on, and just made me think a little bit more about the system he talked about, and maybe some flaws in our system, or some maybe subliminal things that we don't necessarily realize could be being taught or known to us.
And I think that that's part of it, is a lot of these things that, a lot of these decisions or things that, we think, is just normal, or, everyday conversations, or whatever the case may be. They're in our subconscious. We don't even realize, it's a problem until things like this get brought up, or these situations happen, and that's when, these feelings or these emotions, they come back out.
And just, it's okay to agree to disagree, and that's fine. But if we can all find kind of a common ground to, really just love each other and spread that, and make everyone feel safe and equal, and not just like they don't have a voice. I go off the hierarchy of needs. If you're not feeling safe and you're not feeling like you're getting some of those basic needs that you want, then yeah, some of the other levels aren't going to work. And I feel like he kind of touched onto that. And so that's kind of where my mind went, is, oh, well, if people's basic needs aren't being met and they don't feel, safe and things like that, then some of those higher levels aren't going to be there either. Yeah. Nope. And as far as for us, trying to walk on eggshells or not having voice, I know I've had a lot of friends who feel like, I'm sorry, I haven't stood up, I haven't said something sooner. And I think I can even relate to that too. Maybe I haven't said something sooner, or we haven't had the discussion and really stepped up for it, but sometimes we don't have the right words or know if we should, kind of.
Well, and that's the thing I think that we talked about, was we don't really know what to say in those situations. We are from a smaller rural area, and so a lot of times, we're not witness to this every day, but like she said, with her job, and we obviously have multiracial friends and stuff. Again, I don't know what to say when these situations come up. He mentioned that he had friends reach out, and you feel like it's awkward because you don't know what to say, you don't know how to handle these situations. But again, just making it aware to that other person on the other side, like, hey, I'm thinking about you. I may not have the right words to say, but again, I am willing to have a conversation to help you out any way that I can. So
definitely, yeah. No, we just hope that maybe this allows you guys to have a conversation, see another perspective, learn just a little bit more. And as always, we're just trying to do the best we can for the world we live in. I think we're all in agreement between the three of us that there is a flaw, there is something going on, and there needs to be change. And from what I've seen over Blackout Tuesday and just other things on media, now that this is getting really big and the topic of discussion, is the fact that there's a lot of people who feel the same way we do. So hopefully this is the beginning of some big steps and change in our world.
And I think that one more thing is, don't feed into just the negative things that the media is pushing, the news outlets or social media, whatever the case may be. Do your research, do your homework, make sure that you get the correct information. Don't just fall into that trap of feeding, off of the negativity, because there is a lot of good that's going on right now as well. There's a lot of peaceful protests. There's a lot of, good conversations that are coming out of this. So again, just kind of do your research, do your homework, because there is positive things that are coming out of this as well. It's just not all negative like the news is throwing at you. So just please be aware of that.
So every negative video I think news has tried to put out, I know on my end of media I've seen positive, whether it's policemen helping and making sure people just feel safe to protest, hugging and standing up for each other. I know I have friends who did go to the protest, the peaceful ones, and they had signs up and they were taking pictures together and just really feeling united. So of course we have our own thoughts on how the media could portray things a little bit better, but right now we're just going to do our best to share. And so we would love if you guys could share this video and share any of the kind stuff. I feel like it starts with us and making that difference because like you said, we don't know the Waltons, but us people who are every day, who you're going to see in the grocery store, on the streets, people are the ones who are dealing with this the most, and I feel like can also make the most change.
Feel free to share, feel free to comment, ask questions. As always, feel free to subscribe and stay disciplined, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.